Did you know the most popular baseball player of all time, the guy that's got a candy bar named after him, the guy that revolutionized the game of baseball, actually stole his swing from another player? He stole it from somebody he idolized, which was number one, Babe Ruth was the player I'm talking about. The guy that got, the Babe Ruth candy bar. And the guy he emulated, the guy he modeled his game after, is actually Shoeless Joe Jackson. Maybe you heard of Shoeless Joe Jackson and the scandals and everything like that. But Babe Ruth, the guy that has more home runs than, well, at the time he was playing more home runs than any player in history, and just completely revolutionized the way the game was played and the way fans came to the game and, the money behind the game. Babe Ruth is credited for all that. And this video is not about Babe Ruth and his history and revolutionizing the game. The video is about, who are you modeling your game after? Who are you emulating? Who are you trying to be like? Now, I'm sure there were coaches, I'm sure there were people telling Babe Ruth to swing a certain way, right? And if you didn't know, Babe Ruth was a pitcher at one point. But he modeled, Shoeless Joe Jackson had, you can call it an uppercut swing, you can call it whatever you want, the whole revolution, the whole revolution of launch angle and matching your bat on the same plane as a ball. I completely agree with all that information, but at the time, the game was taught completely differently. But the point is that Babe Ruth decided to model his game after Shoeless Joe Jackson, and then the results came after. So who are you modeling your game after? Who do you want to emulate? Now, all of your energy and all of your focus then should be on understanding, where are you now? Where are you currently? And you can apply this to your swing, you can apply this to your throwing, you can apply this to your pitching mechanics, you can apply this to fielding. You can apply it to any specific aspect of your game. So where are you now, and where do you want to go? Where do you want to get to? And find the players that you want to emulate, you want to model your game after specifically. And then you're simply bridging the gap from where you are now to where you want to get to. And the quickest way to bridge that gap is not by simply doing what you think is right, or doing what you feel is right, or doing what one of your teammates is doing. Maybe your teammate is having success, but what are the best of the best doing? What are the players that you want to be like doing? What are the best players in the MLB doing? And model that into your game. Now, here's something really interesting that most players don't take into consideration, is that you can model them physically, but you can also model them mentally. What do they think about? When do they think about it? How do they work on the mental game? You can model what they do in their habits and their routines, but if you want what they have and you don't have it yet, the quickest way to get there is by modeling what they do. Now, a really interesting thing is there's the difference between what we feel and what is actually real. So it's important, if you want to get here and you're still at point A and you want to get to point C, where you're modeling where your favorite players are at, it's important to see where you're at from different perspectives, because awareness ultimately allows us to make changes quicker. So if we're on this path, right, and we want to get to where these players that we're modeling are at, it would benefit us to make sure that we stay on track. Because what's going to happen, and this is without fail, this will happen to every single player. What's going to happen is that we're going to get off track. We're going to get derailed. Things are going to happen. We're going to run into obstacles. We're going to run into barriers. But if we have enough self-awareness and we can see our game from different perspectives, then all of a sudden we can get back on track quicker. Instead of continuing to veer off track, and we're not even aware of it, and then 2 or 3 years later, we're way down here when we really wanted to be up here. It's not that we weren't passionate enough, and it isn't that we didn't work hard enough. It isn't that we didn't have enough heart. It's that we weren't aware enough to know that we were doing something that was taking us off track. So it's key, it's crucial to understand that. Figure out who you want to be like. It can be one player, it can be multiple players. Who do you want to be like specifically? And then what are the critical components that they're doing that I'm not doing? And how can I model, how can I copy what they're doing and implement it into my game, into my routine, into my habits, into my way of thinking, so that I can get from here to here much quicker. And have the awareness along the way to say, okay, I'm veering off track. I need to course correct and get back on track. And that's where the role of, coaches, mentors, video is a critical component, because what we feel like we're doing physically oftentimes is different from actually what's going on. So the video breakdown is a great way to actually see it from a different perspective. Or journaling, noting what is actually going on. One day you feel this way, the next day you feel this way. Okay, so what is the difference? What are the key components that I can dissect and take apart so that I can make sure I stay on track and not feel like I'm veering off track? So there's a ton of strategies for bringing awareness for veering off track. But the whole purpose of this video was, who are you modeling? Who are you emulating? Who are you trying to get your game to look like? It can be one player, it can be multiple players. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please smash that subscribe button down below and leave your questions in the comment section, because that's the inspiration behind these videos, to help serve you guys specifically with what you're struggling with. And if you'd like to take things a step further, check the links in the description below. If you're interested in our coaching, if you're interested in checking me out on other platforms and connecting with me there, if you're interested in some of our other free training, definitely check it out in the description below. And I will see you guys on the next video.